The sun hung low, a bleeding wound in the sky. Smoke from the shattered battlefield coiled like weary ghosts, clinging to broken weapons and the tattered banners of a brutal war. The air was thick with the stench of death and fear. But from that ruin, a lone figure emerged, a human. Her name was Ailin. She walked not with the swagger of a victor, but with the heavy, careful steps of one carrying precious cargo. In her arms, across her shoulders, strapped safely to her back, she carried the future. She bore the weight of every lost cub. In the great alliance of races, war had stolen so much. The winged Avari, whose fledglings were ripped from the sky by terror bombs. The horn-clad Karag, whose young were lost in the fury of a shock charge. The scaled Ishtari, whose nests were turned to ash, their hatchlings scattered. For every race, there were mothers who wept for children presumed dead. Ailin fought for honor. But when the chaos subsided and the enemy surrendered, she did what no one else dared. She descended back into the carnage. She searched the hidden ravines and battered trenches. Seeking not medals, but heartbeats. One by one, she gathered every young one she could find alive. A tiny, fractured wing, a splintered horn, a small, trembling tail. Each she lifted, each she bore as if they were her own. When she finally limped back to the Alliance camp, a strange silence fell. The mothers of the lost cubs, fierce, proud warriors themselves, saw her. And then, one by one, they fell to their knees. It wasn't a bow of shame, but one of absolute, unspoken awe. The magnificent winged queens of the Avari folded their vast, feathered wings and sank to the ground. The battle-scarred Korog matriarchs knelt on the hard earth, their powerful forms humbled. The silent, scaled Ishtari mothers dropped to one knee, pressing their footclaws to the soil. Their reptilian eyes glistening with unshed tears, Ailin moved through the stunned assembly, her face streaked with grime and sweat. Gently, she placed each cub into its mother's waiting embrace. She cleaned their wounds with cool water, murmuring comforting words. Her actions spoke a universal language. You were not forgotten. You are home. Cerilyn, a queen of the Avari, cradled her tiny chick, its wing bruised and curled. She looked up at Ailin, her voice trembling. Why did you bring mine? I thought she perished on the blast ridge. The chick chirped weakly, clinging to its mother's feathers. Ailin knelt beside them, her own exhaustion forgotten. Because life remains possible until the final breath, she said. Her voice soft, but clear. Because I promised that when the fighting ended, I would seek the young who were abandoned. Your cub is alive. She will heal. Tears finally streamed down the queen's face. She bowed again, deeper this time, her wingtip brushing the dust in a gesture of ultimate respect. Ailin simply touched her shoulder. It was my honor. This scene repeated itself across the camp. A mother's gasp of disbelief, a cub's weak cry, and a silent, kneeling figure before the human who had walked through hell to bring back hope. The engines of war brought devastation, but Ailin's singular act of compassion became a beacon in the bloody night. In the days that followed, the camp became a place of healing. Bandaged cubs rested on soft mats, their wide eyes following Ailin as she moved among them, a guardian angel in muddy fatigues. Under the light of twin moons, she finally had a moment to reflect. She remembered her own loss, a younger brother taken by a mine collapse back on her colony world. She had stayed with him until the very end, a helpless witness to his final breath. In that darkness, she had made a vow. She would never let another young one be left behind. That's why she had volunteered for this. Why she begged for the post-battle search and rescue role. A task many thought a fragile human was unsuited for. When the mothers asked her, "Why you, human? Why risk yourself in the scorched trenches?" her answer was always the same. Because I must. And they understood. Her resolve was tested again when word came of two Ishtari hatchlings, trapped in a collapsing enemy bunker. The rescue team said it was a suicide mission. Too unstable. Ailin insisted. Donning a powered exosuit, she crawled into the groaning wreckage. With a grunt of exertion, she lifted a massive concrete slab and pulled the two tiny, terrified hatchlings free. Their mother, Krasha, saw them and let out a howl of pure, primal relief that shook the very windows of the healing tents. She collapsed to her knees before Ailin, her scales quivering. You gave me back my future, she choked out. Ailin shook her head, helping the matriarch to her feet. You gave them a future, she replied gently, when you fought for them. In time, the wounds of war began to heal. The cubs grew strong, their laughter and play once again filling the alien air. The Alliance leadership tried to shower Ailin with their highest honors, but she refused the medals and the fanfare. She asked for only one thing, a memorial, a sculpture of a human and an alien mother, not bowing, but standing together, with their young between them, a symbol of unity and the sacred value of the smallest lives. On the day of its unveiling, all the races gathered. The sculpture glowed under the moonlight, a testament to hope reborn from ash. Ailin stood quietly to the side, but the mothers of the cubs she had saved sought her out. They didn't bow this time. They stood with her, shoulder to shoulder, wing, horn, scale, and human form united. Ailin, the Avari queen, embraced her. We bow to you no more, she whispered. Now, we walk alongside you. Ailin smiled, a true, warm smile that reached her tired eyes. Then let us walk together. And so they did. The war was not the end. It was the beginning of a promise, forged in fire and sealed by compassion. A promise that when the smoke clears and the battlefield falls silent, someone will always walk through the ashes, find the small and the lost, and carry them home. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more tales of courage and hope. From across the galaxy, we'll see you next time.